welcome to Life Beyond the Line, episode 8. This one, I'm nervous, anxious. Got my mother joining me today to unanswered questions and find out why I became an addict, and any questions she may have. I've not got a clue what she's going to ask me, guys. And that brings me to realising the pressure, the nerves, the anxiety that every guest that's sat in this seat today before me and been on the previous episodes brings me to a lot of gratitude and respect. So again, thank you for the opportunity and the trust that you've installed in me to share on my platform. So with that, I'm now going to hand you over to my mother and wish me luck.
Gonna need luck. From the minute you were born, William, you've had to fight. And I've had to fight with you. As you were born with problems. But you seem to cope with them really well. You went to school. And I know I had to go to school a few times for you. But what I really want to know is, why did you take the first bag?
You know, when I took the first bag...
You told me it was a 21st birthday present.
Okay, so it's mad because, as you know, as a child, I'd like to drink on the streets. Back then, it was the dumb thing, weekend drinking, etc. And I dabbled in smoking a bit of pot. And I was on a building site, and it was my 21st birthday. We was off out for a drink 21st with my sister's 18th. I was given a white packet, and I didn't know what it was. Well, I did know what it was, but I didn't know what it was going to do to me. But as you know, in my teens, I would experiment on nights out, etc., and taking the odd pill. I was always the dickhead that would drink myself to a state of, and then end up getting arrested, fighting. I was always angry when I was drunk. And I didn't know what this packet was going to do. I knew it was cocaine. But I just put it in my work pouch that day. Brought it home with me. And as you know, I was living with Bev at the time. She was heavily pregnant with Olivia. And I snuck off while we was getting ready into the garden in my bird sheds where I kept my birds. And had me first ever line. Kept it from Bev. I didn't tell Bev. Bev didn't know, but she knew something was different when I walked in because I was chatting her head off. But the feeling it gave me just made me feel good. I actually felt, wow, dead confident. It made me come out of my shell a lot more. And I know that's hard to believe because as a child, I always come across as confident, but that was always a shield. That I'd always try and fit in. I could be a different person depending on who I was talking to. I always could. I had a different group of mates for each day in school, depending on which personality woke up with Will, whether I was going to hang around with the good kids or I was going to hang around with the hard kids, or I was going to just go and be a normal person and go and play football. But I took that, and that's all I took, that one line. That cocaine didn't come out with us for the night out. And I just remembered being able to drink more, and I didn't get pissed as what I'd been pissed before. And I remember that I'd left it in the bird shed, and next time I went out, I took it with me. And what it done for me is I couldn't get drunk. I could drink more, honey. So it became a habit, not an addiction, a habit, a routine of when I was going out, I would end up getting a little bit of coke, little 20 bag, to start with to allow me night to drink more. And it progressed quickly to the tolerance. It went from 20 to 50, and that was it. It was a couple of years before I touched it again. I'd still go out, drink myself to oblivion, get locked up, end up in fights. But I was still then okay. Everything was fine. I was setting up a new business, wasn't I? From being an apprentice, and my life was going well. I had everything going for me.
You said you always had big ambitions. You always wanted to be your own boss. So why, once you sort of like come down off that cocaine, realise it was a false sense of security?
Well, it wasn't, because I wasn't. It's mad. I wasn't using it to escape at that time. I was using it to allow myself to go out and be that dickhead on a night out that could do the full top shelf, could down the shots, as you know. But it allowed me to do that because it didn't get me drunk. So I'd get drunk without it. With that, I'd stay level-headed, I'd stay sober. And that's what cocaine became first for me. I'd use it to, not as a party drug, because at this point I wasn't using it with people.
No, because when we'd have family parties, you always, especially children parties, you always entertain children. You're brilliant with children. You really are. And even family parties, you always made sure me and your nan was okay, Bev was okay. And then you always sort of like enjoy a party, like your wedding. You know, your wedding was brilliant. You made sure everyone had a good time. You and Bev had a brilliant time. So to find out you were taking it to sort of like become acceptable and accepted outside, as well as, because I know where your false sense of security comes from, because I grew up the same with having the conditions I've got.
Mm-hmm.
But I dealt with it other ways, as you know. But I can't get my head around the fact that you actually took that knowing that that bag wasn't going to last you, you know, because from before, and it goes up. I can't understand addiction. I mean, I smoked for many a year, and that's an addiction. I can't understand. It's, you know, I don't know.
So for me, Mum, it's mad because, as you know, I was success driven. I was 22. I had a successful business.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been successful, but at that time it was bringing success. It was bringing fortune my way. We'd moved into this home by then. I was a dad. My life was going great, but I was still enjoying a drink, whether that be the darts, the pool. The racing the pigeons came later at the death of my granddad, because I'd always kept birds with my granddad. But they were excuses to escape. And it's mad because I've spoke with Bev on this. I wasn't escaping her, but I was escaping something, because I love Bev dearly. But I couldn't sit at home. There was always something. I was always irritable, agitated, so I'd always go out and drink. And the nights I drunk and didn't use cocaine, I would come home, and as you know, I'd smash the house up in anger, in frustration. The cocaine stopped that. So it became an acceptable reason for me to use cocaine then. But when I'll try and explain it the best I can for you, because when I'm out drinking, I'm out with sensible fellas, friends of yours and my dad's, as you know, playing darts, and I'm drinking whiskey with them, a whiskey chaser and a beer. whiskey chaser, beer. They're going home, but I've got cocaine in my pocket. So the nights grew. I was growing apart from the friends that I was going out with, and I was mixing with people that were using, and it became acceptable to. And all of a sudden, we're unaware to it because it had become a part that I couldn't go out on a Friday night without knowing that I was going to have 1 pint and phone a dealer, get it dropped off at the pub. But my tolerance was getting bigger, so then bags were getting bigger. To the point where the bags were getting that big, I'd come home with it for the first time. And I'd sit there or in my armchair, using on my own while Bev was upstairs with 2 kids at the time, because I didn't use for a couple of years. I set the business up. We got married. I didn't use on my wedding night. I was drunk. You seen the state of us. It was fun, but I was always an alcoholic. I'd always drink to the excess of oblivion, and the coke sobered me up. But as I was using cocaine and my circle was changing, I was the prick. I was acting the goat. I had the money, I had the business, so I was. And don't take this to heart, because you've done a marvellous job as raising us free, and you've always given us everything we wanted. But I was the kid that, back in the day, all parents like yourself struggled to provide for our kids. It was, we're not a rich family, and I'm grateful, but I was becoming something that, wow, I've got money. And I was an egotistical prick with it, Mum, to the point where I'd be the one buying all the drinks.
Yeah, I know.
And cocaine's not a cheap drug, so I'd be showing off to look at the size of my bag, and I'd be the knob that would provide it for the circle I was with, because I was getting big checks coming through. But that's it. That was my life. I wasn't an addict because I was earning big money. I was giving Bev money at the time for a few years anyway, before I became an addict. We had a nice house. I'd renovated the whole house. I was getting jobs coming through left, right and centre. I had people working for me. My life was great.
It was.
But I was just going out, and I wasn't being a business person, or I wasn't being a dad, or I wasn't being a husband, and I wasn't being a son. I was being something I'm not, but something I had become to fit in with a crowd of people, showing off, basically. And cocaine just became a part of my life, became a routine, but I wasn't an addict because I was providing for my loved ones back home. Yes, I was going out and leaving them of an evening. I didn't see a problem in that. I wasn't being a dad to my 4-year-old daughter or my newborn son, or a husband to my wife, but it was because I was giving them money, or I'd take them on the odd day out to Chester Zoo. We'd have that odd holiday. So I've worked hard all week. Why can't I go and play hard? That was my attitude, which I now know today was wrong, but still I've done it. That's what I've done. And things happened in my life, which, as you know, my son was attacked by a dog, and that destroyed me. I know what it's done to Bev and the kids, etc. But I was always selfish. It was never about them. It was always, well, what about me? The miscarriages Bev went through, what about me? People didn't ask me how I was. One person did, and I'm grateful for that one person. But why? I'm part of the family. Why not me? That's the way I looked at it. Not judging anyone, but I was, if that makes sense. My life had became a series of events had happened. The bankruptcy came. because I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. Before I knew it, unknown to me, I didn't know, I was spending that much money on a party lifestyle, feeding me ego, becoming cocksure that big jobs were going to come through. I always relied on a job coming through. I got to the point where I didn't have money to pay the lads that were working for me. I didn't have money to pay the building suppliers for stuff that supplying materials for the job, and that led me to going bankrupt. So what?
So
That was my attitude.
Realise?
No, because
it got you.
Because that was my attitude. So what?
Yeah.
I've gone bust. I'll start again. That was the attitude I'd come to become. And this destroys me because I'm forever grateful for Bev, but she's always stood by me. So I always had that, no matter what I do, Bev's got me back. And while she had me back, I felt untouchable. And put a drink and drug in me, I didn't give a shit about Bev. And that's the harsh reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
So what did I do when I lost my business? I had a chat with my dealer, told him and said I'm starting a new one, and walked out with more drugs to escape. Because the minute it come to, I started to use them to escape things. But I was still going out and I'd setting a new business up. There was always a justification to why I'd used them. Justifications you mightn't understand, but my head would tell me it was okay, because in a week or 2 weeks you're getting this big payment. Will, you can sort this, you can sort that, you can give Bev and the kids some money, and you can go about your life, and you're doing no harm. Because I wasn't doing no harm. To me, I was doing more harm if I came home drunk, because I would get aggressive and smash the house up, and I wasn't that person on cocaine, but I was selfish and egotistical and showing off and acting the goat, and basically I didn't see a problem in it.
No, but when you were sort of like telling people, yeah, you're not being paid by a company, so you didn't have the wages for them, there was no self-conscious there.
No,
you know, at Christmas, I remember at Christmas, and nobody got paid apart from your dealer, which we didn't know at the time. But made sure the kids had Christmas presents, as you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's. I'll just touch on that, Mum, and I'm not saying it as an excuse, because you've helped me out an awful lot. My dad's helped me out an awful lot, and Bev's bailed me out an awful lot. So's Sandra, my mother-in-law. She's helped us out. She doesn't know what it was for.
Neither did me and your dad.
No, but you do today.
Yeah.
We always knew that, or we always thought, doesn't matter, my banker mum and dad or Bev will get a loan for me, and that's my attitude I had. I'd become that person, not wanting to be that person. I don't know how it happened. It had me. I got to the point where I didn't want to be that person, and I come into recovery in 2023. I can honestly sit here and tell you now, it's not my story to tell, but if Bev ever comes on and shares, I've been wanting to stop for at least 10 years. I couldn't at that point. It had become not daily at this point, but it had become a 4 night a week habit of sitting, using, because as you just said, there was lads I wasn't paying at Christmases. There was things I was fucking up in life, businesses lost, I had debt dealers bounce, bailiffs turning up at my door, all these collection of things. I was then feeling guilt and shame, but I didn't know how to face them. I didn't see a way out. The only way I could face it was to escape it, and I escaped it by getting high. Didn't want to do it but the minute I put one in me, I was powerless. I didn't want it, but I knew that I was going to escape it, so I'd done it. The minute I put that one in me, I didn't give a shit about anything, anyone, whether that be the kids, whether that be Bev, whether that be you, whether that be myself. I put myself in some tricky situations where I'm lucky to be alive today. I didn't care, but all I knew that I wasn't dealing with the shit, the red letters, the broken wife. I wasn't dealing with all that headache. I was selfish to the core on it. We don't care. But then I'd wake up the next day full of guilt, full of remorse, but it wasn't enough to stop me. I would obsess about it in the day. Why have I done that? Why have I fucking done that? Why have I just spent my mortgage money? Bev doesn't get paid till the end of the month. What am I going to do? And I'd just fucking sleep the day away. The minute I'd wake up, I'd have guilt, remorse all over me. Not like myself, so I'd pick up again. That's addiction. I couldn't handle it, Mum. But through all this time, there would be moments of sobriety for me. We'd go on holiday. I'd still drink, but I was on holiday, so it was allowed to drink. I wasn't trying to get sober. I was only trying to pack the drink and the cocaine in. And I was only trying to pack the cocaine in because I'd become in financial ruins. I was working in a fucking pizza shop, for God's sake. I'm a time-served joiner. I've had 2 businesses and I'm tossing pizzas in a pizza shop, cutting kebab meat.
But you never come home from that pizza shop?
No, because I grew to love it. And I grew to love it because it gave me access to drugs. And it was feeding me addiction. And I could stay and go out and night out. And I worked in that pizza shop for two years, and I don't think I brought a single penny home from it. But by this point, I was making everything about me. I could lie, I could manipulate, I could be deceitful.
Oh yeah.
I could spit my dummy out, I could sulk. And I'd go to any means to get that money. The kids, they know about it. I've made amends with them. I'd sit there counting their birthday money coming out of each card. Throughout that day, I'd say, lend your dad 100 quid. And I'd take it to pay a dealer to get some more. That's where I got to, Mum. But I'd always try and get away. I went working away to get away from it.
Did you?
No, because I thought cocaine, I was naive to think it was only in my hometown, and I didn't. And it's not acceptable what I've done, but cocaine, any drug for that matter today, like last episode where Natalie spoke about the loss of her daughter, drugs is socialised, drinks everywhere, and it's a quick fix to all our problems. And I went working away to escape drugs. Again, was never packing in alcohol. I've drank since the age of 12 with my granddad.
Oh no.
And didn't have a problem with drink. I'd never seen I had a problem with drink until I've looked at myself and realised that I can't. But I used in London when I worked away, earning good money, wasn't bringing money home. Bev knew why I went working away, and that wasn't working, so I stopped. So when employed, that broke me. It's mad because it didn't break me working in a pizza shop, because I was fortunate enough that I had free reins. I became the manager of the pizza
Not
shop.
only that, you had good access to the drug.
Oh, exactly. The drugs didn't come from the pizza shop. For anyone that's watching, they come from people that visited the shop that was in the pub from downstairs. I just want to make it clear: the pub wasn't the pub or the pizza shop wasn't involved in any drugs. It was the people that I mixed with, and I knew, because I'd end up drinking. It's a small place, but I enjoyed it.
Did you see? I hung about with people that done coke, and I got told about some that took it in the family, but not you. They never ever told me about you, and I know they knew, if you get me, because they told me about certain members, and I just think, did they used to laugh at me? But then I realised when you come out, and I thought, well, maybe they were sparing me because they knew how I felt about it. But I look, seeing someone, and they must have seen something on your Facebook, and they just looked at me and smirked. And I just thought, I don't care. I'm proud of the way you're handling yourself now. I've always been proud of you, as you know. And me and your dad discussed towards the end of you with your addiction, and you were sending your dad text messages. Sorry, Dad, I've been up all night with me problems. I can't make it into work today. And I'd see your dad sat on the end of the bed, and he'd sag. And he'd say, fucking hell, Will, you've had a big job on. And I'd say to your dad, we'll ask him outright, what is his problem? And I know I'd say to you about your stomach, and you go, oh, mum, blah, blah, blah. And I'd say to your dad, there's something else. And your dad would say, I know, but I think your dad's scared of the reply, or he didn't want to know, because your dad sort of like lives in his own little world, as you know. His work and his fishing and his kids and grandkids. Me, I'm the nosy one. I want to know why my son isn't getting up and going to work with his dad. I want to know how bad his problem is. Don't mean the drugs, I mean your other bits.
Yeah.
Why aren't you going to seek help for it if it's that bad? And I know you have now. So I kept saying, there's something else. And Bev would come to ours with the kids. And it was funny because Bobby said, we've got no loo roll now, can we rob one? Or can we have our tea with you? And we were never a problem, as you know. I'd feed you all. And she'd sit in ours and you'd ring her. And the girls would be there. And they'd hear how you'd speak to Bev. And each one of them said, why'd you stay with him, Bev? If he spoke to us like that, we'd slap him. And you know your sisters would. They won't put up with it. So for Bev to sit there and put up with what she put up with off you, William, that's one hell of a woman you've got there. And all I can say, and I tell everyone, she's a fantastic daughter-in-law. She may have a selfishness, we all have, but she needed that for her self-protection. You know, she never sort of like sit man and moan about you. She'd just say, oh, we had an argument, and that'd be it. And I'd say to her, you can talk to me about them. You know, I'm the only one that I'd rather you come and slag them off to me than anyone else. And she'll tell you this if she hasn't already. Because I know you were a prick. You know, like your dad, when in our younger days. And I know you were spoiled, and you're still spoiled. The three of you are spoiled. So when you decided, right, enough's enough, I'm going to go and seek help, that sort of like made me realise of what you've gone through, not understanding how you felt, but you've gone through some things. And that's why I asked you them questions. Like, was it something that had happened in your childhood? Were you abused? You know, and things, because you hear people they took to drugs because to escape a childhood that was, and I kept looking, and it might be a bit selfish of me, I kept looking at me, because and I know I had problems when you were children, and your sisters still tell me, you know, you were batty, me and your dad fighting, but I always thought I'd protected you three. But as you said to me, you know, you sat upstairs with your sisters protecting them too from what was going on downstairs. And I know Christmases were a nightmare. Joanne's made that plain.
So there's childhood trauma,
Trauma.
but that doesn't make you an addict. It develops me as a child, of course it does. It makes you as the person not who we become, because as you know, and I share this, I was always there protecting my sisters. I went through school being bullied with my hair lip, as you know. Fought my way through high school because I wasn't going to be bullied, so I became the bully, as you know, coming home on report for being a big bully. Became the person I despised in primary school, in high school, and wanting to fit in. And my childhood didn't make me an addict. It played a part. But as you know, I had a happy 18 to 24. I tried coke at 21. Didn't use it every week. I just, like I said, realised that it sobered me up, carried on, and it got to the point, Mum, where I don't know if you know, but I think you do. We got a court order on the house because I wouldn't give Bev a penny, every last penny. As we discussed, two failed businesses. One was mine, one I convinced Bev to put up, and it made me selfish. But it got to the point where I couldn't stop. Wanted to stop for years. Didn't like putting everyone through what I was putting them through. And I played that regret and remorse the day after on me come down, or if it was a 3-day bender. But while it was inside me, I didn't give a shit who I hurt, what I'd done to get it. I just knew that while I was on it, I was free. I was free from the pain I'd caused people. So for me, I can only ever speak for me, Mum. For anyone that's watching or listening, I was digging a hole of events. Things were getting worse. Things were spiraling out of control. My only way out was to obliterate it with getting pissed and high. Then from that would come a new set of consequences, and before I knew it, there was things everywhere in my life that was chaos. But the moment I took that drug, all that just went away, whether it be for the one night, whether it be for the week. And it got me to the point where, touching up on you saying my dad's sitting on the end of the bed, sunken when I text. I knew that. So the odd time, pardon me, I'd force myself to go into work, but I'd take that with me and I'd be on that in work to get me through the day, to try and not let me dad down. And the consequences of my using were getting greater and greater by the day, by the minute. But I couldn't see a way out. That's why I'm raising this awareness, because I knew deep down I could have come to you or my dad. But ultimately, that wouldn't have stopped me doing it, because I believe today I've had to do the work I've done to become the person I'm becoming.
Do you, looking back, do you ever think, I know you had the lady last week that lost a child, but you could have got a bad batch anytime that could have put you in a
Okay,
coffin.
so I'm going to tell you something now that you probably don't want to hear. I've never tried to commit suicide, but I have in that way. When I say I have, I've not tried to hang myself, slit my throat or slit my wrist, etc. But my life was that bad, couldn't see a way out. So I've downed a litre of vodka and snorted a big amount of cocaine. Praying I didn't wake up. Thinking everyone's life around me would be better without me in it. Because when you're in the grips of addiction, our thinking is insane. Nothing matters other than us. And I'm just grateful for a higher power moment. A spiritual awakening happened on my last use. And I stumbled across someone's post saying that there was a meeting coming to Skem, and don't know why, but something sank in me that night, and I believe an epiphany or something happened that I reached out and said I need help. The fear stopped me coming from you and my dad. Also, I'm going to say it for anyone that's thinking it. The embarrassment of admitting you're an addict, saying that's why you wasn't paid last week, Dad, because I've spent your money on drugs. The fear of my dad saying, well, you owe me the fucking money. Not knowing that you're my mum and dad and the support I've got from you since coming clean. You have been there for me, but the fear of letting you down in case you're angry, I can't come to you and tell you I've got a problem. So Bev's handled it well, kept it to herself.
Bev's handled it fantastic, because I even asked her, why didn't you let me know what you were going through? Her reply was, well, I just thought I could deal with it. Yeah. And she has dealt with it. As I said, I don't think most women are to put up with what they put up with off you.
I always say this, I'm grateful that I haven't lost my family. I haven't lost my loved ones. There is people that have. And
there's no way, the only way I'd turn my back on you is if you become sort of like, you know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to say it. But I'd stand by you through anything. The three of yous are my world, and you know that. I live for you kids. I don't live for anything. I've never said no to you, and I don't think I ever would.
But that's not enough. So, like I said, you've...
I know that's not enough, but...
You've given us the best childhood you could. We've had some great memories, family holidays. We have had some great Christmases. You've always, the Provi man and the lady it was, you've always provided for us, and we're grateful. And we're a close family. I get on with both my sisters. I love them both. But once I became an adult and moved out and my life spiraled the way it did, I don't blame no one other than myself. Looking at it deep down, I rose to...
You seem to go away from us. That's what I said to you, I couldn't understand you. It's sort of like you'd come, say, like gatherings, like Christmas or Easter or like a birthday. And I used to like doing the kids a little birthday parties, And I was looking back on the photos the other day, and there's like our Bobby's birthday and our Liv's birthdays and all that. And we'd had a birthday party and ours, and I used to like making you meals. And that's the way I could spoil you. Because I didn't have a lot of money to buy. I've got more money now. So I always, as you know, at Christmas, the adults get spoilt as well as the kids. But I just love the way yous are, you three, and I always hope you'll be like that. But you seem to go away for a bit. And I used to think it was just jealousy. Used to think the others got more than what you've got. And I never thought for a minute it could be like the drugs. I just thought you'd become a jealous person. I didn't know you were hiding something. And like that,
I was away because I didn't want to be in places where
we could see.
I wanted to come home and use.
Yeah.
I like my own space. I can sit with myself today a little bit. As you know, at Christmas, I find it hard still now to be around people. And I know you love me, and I know that I've nothing to fear, but I still get uncomfortable in them situations.
Your dad won't drink when you're there. Have you noticed?
I have noticed. Because my dad comes out with me, I know that. And I'm okay with him drinking.
I know, but he won't. He doesn't sort of. I think he's scared of you saying, "Oh, I'll have one with my dad," because you and your dad used to go out drinking together, and you still do things together, like yous have been away on fishing weekends together and stuff. But he's just become a different person, and I think it's made him realise as well on certain things. But now he's proud of the way you're dealing with things, and I am anyway. But one thing is that we're both scared in case you relapse.
Okay, so if I relapse, I'll speak my truth and honesty on relapse. Some viewers or listeners mightn't like this, but again, it's my opinion.
Yeah.
If I relapse, it's because I put what I'm doing down. I work the 12-step program to the best of my ability every day. As you know, I throw myself into my recovery. I live and breathe it now, to a point where at one stage I was getting addicted to that. Back in when I was about 9-10 months in, I was getting addicted, and I'm dealing with the consequences of actions through that. But I found a healthy balance today. As you know, me and Bev have more of us time. We have more family time. My life today at 26 months in is about balance, because at first, for any parents that are watching that have got children, or any wives, that if you've got a loved one who's in recovery, I was a selfish prick in addiction. I have to be selfish in recovery. So as you know, that meant missing parties, missing family meals, missing family days out. If I had a meeting Christmas Day and yours, I was at a meeting, I have to put my recovery first to get well.
I understand that, and I'm glad you do.
And that comes with being able to sit here today and say, I can spend more time and I can get sober, but I'm going to be a dry drunk if I don't look at my problems. all the things they've done. I've faced everything I've done in addiction, every single mess I've caused. I can sit here today and say I've faced it. And I've dealt with it. Whether that be setting payment plans up to sort that out, whether that be in making amends with people. But ultimately, I'm making a living amends daily with my loved ones, yourself, my dad. I work with my dad. The relationship today with my dad is back to how it was before I started addiction. But a relapse, I'm not going to say I'm big-headed. I'm not going to relapse, because a relapse will come if I put this work down. I've got a great group of people that I connect with. Got a close circle today. I've cut everything and everyone out of my life that uses. I don't go to pubs today to play pool. I go to pool halls with my son, with my dad, with my nephew. And I'm going there to play pool. I'm not going to play for a pub team where everyone's on it. Yes, there's drugs around me where I go and play poker some nights. There's still drugs there, but I didn't do any of that until I got recovery under my belt and I got the foundations. I'm not better than anybody else. I just work recovery to the best of my ability daily. And if I did relapse, I know I've spoke in depth about it with Bev, that it's just a knock. Doesn't stop me from being the person who I am. It's important if I relapse that I get back on and go again. Unfortunately, people relapse and they go back out for a long time. I can't speak for that. I'm grateful I've not relapsed in my sobriety time. But I do believe I haven't relapsed because I've lived, I've breathed, and I've worked my recovery since day one. There's a saying, we've hit rock bottom. I've hit my rock bottom, but your rock bottom isn't the worst moment of your life. I'm living the worst moment of my life. I'm able to face that.
And I'm proud of the way you're dealing with it. I really am proud of you, William.
Okay, but my rock bottom, so there's a difference for anyone. Rock bottom isn't the worst moment of my life. Rock bottom is I've had enough. I've had that epiphany to stop, to reach out, and I've made that connection to reach out, and I'm grateful that I have, and I'm here today to share my story. And yeah,
Thank you. You've answered questions, and you know what I'm like. I pick and pick away, till I get myself satisfied, and I am well and truly proud, and I've always been proud of you. I didn't like what you become while you were on the drugs and the drink, and I know you were a heavy drinker because you'd spiked my bottle of vodka on your way out. If anyone bought me at least a bottle of vodka, it had gone when you'd gone. And I always laugh thinking you must owe me a bloody brewery of vodka. But I am just so proud of the way you're dealing with things. And I know your sisters are, your dad, and I know your nan is. And you've got 3 fantastic human beings. 2 you created and 1 you partnered with. And I'm just so grateful they didn't turn the back on you. And thank you for your open and your honesty.
No, thank you for coming on and having me in tears. Well, guys, that was emotional, but I think that chat with my mum needed to be had. Bizarre, isn't it? Because she wanted to ask me that, I'll say 18 months ago when I made amends with her, and I was in no fit state, and I said no. And then when she said I was doing this podcast, she made a phone call one evening and said, I'm coming on to ask you the questions. And straight away, I got me back up and said, no, you're not. But thinking about it, that's why we've done it. And I hope if anyone's watching, anyone's listening, you can get something, whether it's from myself or my mother, on the take of addiction, then my work here is done. As always, thank you very much for all the love and support, all the comments, the likes, the shares. Big love.